This is Spain, a country home of majestic Spanish royalty, bulls, and perfect beaches. And you can easily recognize this country just by shape. And also, this country is used for the memes about I live in Spain but the S is silent. However, have you ever wondered how many countries Spain borders? Well, if you think it's only two, then you're absolutely incorrect. But, it only shows France and Portugal as Spain's bordering countries when you look at the map, right? Well, yes, but it's more than just France and Portugal. Now, let's explore Spain's other trickier bordering countries. So, I'll let you guess how many countries Spain borders in total. In a few seconds. Time starts now. Kring kring! And yes, it's over. If you think it's 3, you're incorrect. If 4, you're still incorrect. In fact, Spain borders a total number of 5 countries directly over land. But how in the hell would Spain border countries even though the map only shows that it only borders France and Portugal? Well, let's explore it. Before we start on the other 3 countries, let's focus on Spain's border with France and Portugal. The Spanish-Portuguese border is known as La Raya in Spanish and Portuguese, and is known as the Stripe in English. It is widely considered as one of the oldest, mostly uninterrupted borders in the world, with length over 1,232 kilometers, which is, to be markedly, very long. The current demarcation is almost identical to that defined in 1297 by the Treaty of Alcañices, and is widely considered as one of the oldest uninterrupted border within the European Union. Since both are EU countries and part of the Schengen area, borders are mostly open. The Spanish-French border mostly lies in a natural fortification, the Pyrenees mountain range. It spans from the Bay of Biscay to the west until reaching the Mediterranean Sea to the east. The Treaty of the Pyrenees in 1659 formalized the border, and it remains mostly stable, except for that one time when Napoleon jumped over. Like Portugal, both France and Spain are EU member countries and part of the Schengen area, so borders are open. Also, this general area lies in some very diverse communities, such as the Basque people, which lies in both countries. You know that their language is extremely isolated. They are also home to some Occitan communities, and also Catalonia's northern frontier lies on the border. But yeah, the Pyrenees has mostly separated what would become France and Spain today. Now let's move towards the 3 more border countries. I've mentioned the Pyrenees in the French-Spanish border, and fun fact, one country lies within it, and it also borders Spain. The country is small enough for you to not easily recognize firsthand, and that country is Andorra. Andorra is an independent principality sandwiched between France and Spain deep in the eastern Pyrenees. This is also a hub for tobacco and belongs to the little country but rich haven club. Also, Catalan is official here and is widely spoken. It is the only country where Catalan is official for Catalonia. But let's see how Andorra became a country that lies in Spain's borders. It was believed that Charlemagne created Andorra as a buffer state against attacks by Muslim Moors in the Middle Ages. Eventually, it became its own with a series of leaders until it got to a point where France and Spain claimed it as rightfully theirs, even though at the time it was mostly the Occitans against the Catalans, and they decided to share it. There are co-princes who rule the country, the Bishop of Urgell from Catalonia in Spain, and the French president, making it the only co-principality country in the world. For a while, even until now, it was a smuggling hub between France and Spain. Today, it uses the euro but not part of the EU. So yes, Andorra is basically a Catalan-speaking country and Spain's border country that is small enough for a regular map viewer to not easily recognize it unless you zoom in. But wait, there's more! The next one is much less obvious since it's located in the southern coastline of Spain. But if you have read some history, you will most likely know that it's Gibraltar, a British overseas territory. Gibraltar is under the jurisdiction of the UK but not fully part of it. It has its own internal affairs, but some external affairs like military and diplomacy are responsibilities by the UK. So how did Gibraltar become under UK administration? Well, let's look at some history. For a long while, Gibraltar during the Middle Ages was controlled by the Muslims until 1464 when it was taken by the Castilians during the period known as Reconquista. It formally became part of the Spanish crown during the Age of Discovery. In the meantime, Gibraltar was a favorite place for piracy, especially from the Barbary coast, and many Europeans have also done likewise, since it was a very strategic location. Then came the War of the Spanish Succession. Everything was messy, but it was eventually ended under the Treaty of Utrecht, which ceded Gibraltar to Great Britain. Under Britain, Gibraltar's fortifications were built and strengthened, as there were many attempts by the Spanish to retake it via siege. However, it became firmly under control of Britain until up to the 20th century, and during World War II, the Axis powers really tried to capture Gibraltar, though Spain's Francisco Franco didn't allow Axis troops to march on and take Gibraltar unless, compensation. Spain hasn't used force to retake Gibraltar since 1783, but sovereignty remains a sensitive topic. Much of Gibraltar's population opted to stay British, as a 1967 referendum showed almost all support towards keeping it as a British overseas territory. Gradually, during the 1950s and 60s, Spain started to restrict movement from its own country to Gibraltar, and in 1969, after the passing of the Gibraltar Constitution Order, to which Spain strongly objected, the frontier was closed completely and Gibraltar's telecommunication links through Spain were cut. Although things have cooled off recently, Gibraltar remained a thorn to Spain, and it further aggravated when Brexit happened. But what is certain is that Gibraltar is most likely going to stay British in the future, as it lies in a strategic location in the Mediterranean Sea. But wait, there's the last one, and to surprise you, it's not in the European continent. In fact, it lies in North Africa, and they are the Spanish exclaves of Ceuta and Melilla, which sits on Morocco's Mediterranean coast. So technically, Spain borders Morocco. As part of the European Union, these Spanish exclaves are the only landmass in the area that belongs to the European Union, and of course this attracts a lot of Africans seeking out better opportunities, mostly from sub-Saharan Africa. In fact, it isn't just Ceuta and Melilla, there are many more unincorporated Spanish overseas minor territories scattered along the Mediterranean coast bordering Morocco, collectively known as Plazas de Soberanía. In fact, Peñón de Vélez de la Gomera, which is a random Spanish territory that lies in Morocco's shoreline, has the shortest international border in the world at 85 meters. So why in the world Spain has so many possessions off the coast of Morocco? It all goes back into Reconquista. It's not just the reconquest of the Iberian Peninsula, but Christian kingdoms wanted to expand deep within Western Mediterranean. In 1415, Portugal seized Ceuta, while in 1497, Spain seized Melilla, but at the cost of the long sieges and a series of fortifications. In 1688, Portugal ceded Ceuta to Spain in the Treaty of Lisbon. Although several treaties were signed by Morocco and Spain, some Moroccans attempted to take back the cities by force, although it mostly got suppressed by Spanish forces. But Spanish ambitions don't just stop in Ceuta and Melilla. In the early 20th century, Spain is losing its remaining colonies faster and is no longer a great power in Europe. Hence, it looked on Morocco for better opportunities, and they signed an agreement with the French to recognize each other's spheres of influence and later became a protectorate. This covered much of Morocco's northern coastline and its southern areas bordering Spanish Sahara. Although the city of Tangier later became an international zone, several Moroccans aren't exactly happy with this arrangement and later seceded and established the Republic of the Rif, although it was put down by Spain. Also, the Spanish army in Africa was the first to rebel against the government at the start of the Spanish Civil War. It later became part of the Francoist Spain, but in 1956, Spanish protectorate ended, but it kept Ceuta, Melilla, and other smaller areas until today, although Ifni was returned in 1969. Why wasn't it returned? Well, Ceuta and Melilla have been Spanish for centuries now, and Spain isn't willing to just end its rule and leave Africa. Morocco still sits, hoping Spain gives it back, but it isn't happening for now. And also, the border is extremely fortified due to immigration issues on behalf of the EU. For now, Ceuta, Melilla, and other smaller areas remain a part of Spain as autonomous cities, and it's a major geographic anomaly. So yeah, we have a total of 5 countries that Spain borders: Portugal, France, Andorra, United Kingdom, and Morocco. This may come as a surprise to you, but not every map tells the whole story, and you shall examine more about it thoroughly. And that's it for today, and please subscribe for more country neighbors.